For the past few years, AAA studios have been in a downfall, a direct result of releasing a steady stream of bad, boring, and unpolished games. Despite this downfall, the studios were still making huge sales and a lot of money. But in March of this year, a low-budget indie game called Schedule 1 was released on Steam, and it gave the AAA studios a nasty surprise. The game went viral across the internet in just a few days, and its sales were higher than even the AAA games that cost hundreds of millions of dollars to make. People's focus shifted away from AAA games. A title like Assassin's Creed Shadows, which came out in the same period, couldn't sell as much because of Schedule 1, and as a result, investors lost money. If more indie games like this keep appearing on the market, AAA studios could go bankrupt. But how is a game, made by just one developer in their bedroom, going head-to-head with such giant studios? Is this downfall of AAA studios about to turn into their death? Let's find out in this video. The first way this game defeated AAA studios was financially. In just a few days after its release, the game sold a staggering 8 million copies. From all this success, Schedule 1 earned $125 million in only 2 months. On the other side, Skull and Bones, which was made for $200 million, sold less than 1 million copies. Assassin's Creed Shadows, a highly anticipated AAA title, sold only 2.5 million copies. But Schedule 1's dominance wasn't just in sales, it also humiliated AAA games on Steam. Other companies spend a lot of money on marketing and still can't get into the top 50 or top 100. But Schedule 1, with no marketing budget, has entered the top 30 games of all time on Steam. Throughout April and May 2025, Schedule 1 consistently ranked in the top 5 most played games. That in itself is a big record. So where did this record-breaking success come from? The answer came down to 2 things: TikTok and streamers. Without them, Schedule 1's massive success simply wouldn't have been possible. It started when free copies of the game were sent out to a lot of streamers. When they played it, they found it was genuinely interesting. So they made videos and streamed it to get more views, which resulted in a wave of natural, free promotion for the game. This promotion led to more people buying the game, who then started sharing their own interesting moments on TikTok. And, you guessed it, the game went viral there too. Seeing the trend, even more influencers jumped on board and started making videos. And because of this, in just 1 week, Schedule 1 landed among the top games on Steam. And its arrival in the top charts was terrible news for Assassin's Creed Shadows. Schedule 1 hit the market performance of a game like Assassin's Creed so hard that it literally caused the game to lose money. Normally, there's an unwritten rule in gaming. You don't launch your small indie game right when a massive AAA title is dropping. You do that because players are all busy with the big game, and your little indie project just won't get any attention. But Schedule 1 was released on March 25th, just 4 days after Assassin's Creed Shadows came out on March 20th. You'd think that would have hurt Schedule 1's performance, but it didn't have any effect at all. Instead, it was the other way around. The performance of Assassin's Creed Shadows, a game made by thousands of developers with a budget between $250 and $350 million, was hit hard. In fact, as I'm recording this video, Assassin's Creed Shadows has about 2,573 people playing it. At this very same moment, Schedule 1 has over 17,000. Schedule 1's all-time peak player count is over 450,000, while the peak for Assassin's Creed Shadows is just 64,800. And this is where it gets interesting, because graphically, Assassin's Creed Shadows is miles ahead. But despite its simple graphics, Schedule 1 is incredibly addictive. It's the kind of game that can immerse a player for hours without them getting bored. In the game, you're a broke drug dealer, growing weed in your apartment and selling it. You have to evade the police while battling rival gangs and other drug cartels. And the simple acts of producing drugs and doing other daily tasks in the game are just incredibly satisfying. A big reason it's so addictive is that it's heavily inspired by the GTA series. Just like GTA, it manages to maintain a funny, lighthearted tone even while you're committing serious crimes. You start out broke, just like in GTA Vice City, and eventually you build up an entire drug empire. Even the logo for Schedule 1 seems inspired by GTA 5. And breaking the law triggers a familiar wanted system where you have to escape the cops. So, on one hand, you have Schedule 1, which has taken inspiration from all over to create a genuinely entertaining game. And on the other hand, you have AAA studios, who in their greed and obsession with profits, have started making games that are just boring. So boring, in fact, that most players buy them and then just quit without ever finishing them. AAA studios have stopped focusing on making their games interesting and fun, and instead, they focus on the numbers, making the map bigger, adding endless quests, throwing in thousands of microtransactions. After a while, playing the game stops being fun and starts to feel like a chore. But Schedule 1, the map is small, the graphics are average, but the game itself has a ton of fun and depth. And then there's the price. AAA games have not only become more expensive, but their pricing is also confusing. A base price of $70, plus another $30 for DLC, and sometimes even more microtransactions after that. It's just not affordable. But with Schedule 1, you buy it once. That's it. Everything is included from the start. No DLC, no microtransactions. This isn't just about a pricing model, it's a fundamental difference in design philosophy. And it's this philosophy that's causing the downfall of AAA games. AAA games are often made without passion. They're designed to please investors and maximize profit. They don't take any creative risks, because that could lead to a potential loss. Indie games, on the other hand, are built on passion. They're designed to be as fun and enjoyable as possible. But here's the thing, no matter how much players love Schedule 1, the AAA studios don't care. They see its success, and they're not going to change a thing. Even though their games are getting worse and more expensive, they won't improve because they're still making enough profit to keep the investors and the studios happy. They make so much money from microtransactions and brand loyalty. And as long as these safe methods keep bringing in money, why would they ever take a risk on something that might fail? It's this exact mindset that has led to a pattern. Even before Schedule 1, for the past few years, indie games have been surprising the market by outselling these giants. But the AAA studios just aren't learning their lessons. Lethal Company, a survival game, also broke records in October 2023. That game was also made by a single developer named Zeekers for just a few $1,000s. It has now sold over 16.5 million copies and made over $141 million. In 2022, Vampire Survivors sold 9.8 million copies with a gross revenue of around $35 million. It was also created by a single developer, Luca Galante. Just last year, in 2024, Balatro pulled in $54.6 million in revenue, and players absolutely loved it. The success of these low-budget games has motivated a lot of other developers to start making their own games that might just be able to go head-to-head with the big studios. And even though not every indie game succeeds, when one does, the reward is huge. Every developer knows that if they can spend just $20,000 to make a really good game, they have a chance of making $150 million in return, just like Schedule 1. And that's enough to change a developer's life forever. So there's a good chance we're going to see a lot more masterpieces like Schedule 1. But there's a behemoth on the horizon, a game so anticipated that it could cause huge problems for the indie scene. In fact, after its release, indie games might just disappear from the market for a few years. That game is GTA 6. Here's why. GTA 6 is expected to be so far ahead of every other game, both in graphics and gameplay, that it will set a new standard. The expectation is that it won't just break GTA 5's sales records, it will shatter them. And remember, GTA 5 is a 10-year-old game that has sold 215 million copies and made $1 billion in its first 3 days. GTA 6 will do even more. Its release will actually make the entire gaming market bigger. Because it's being made for next-gen consoles like the PS5 and Xbox Series X, players will have to buy new hardware just to play it. And once they have those consoles, they won't just stop there. They'll buy more games, and the whole market will grow. In this bigger, more competitive market, every AAA studio is going to fight for its share. Investors will pour in more money, and game studios will be forced out of their comfort zones. They'll have to make real improvements and take creative risks. GTA 6 will set a new benchmark for everyone. Every studio will be in a race to bring that level of technology to their own games. The studio that gets there first will pull ahead, and the others will lose out. That fear will force everyone to get better, and AAA games will improve dramatically. And that's why the opportunity that Schedule 1 had might not exist for the indie games that come after. You might be seeing one masterpiece after another from the big studios. Only time will tell. But for now, the success of Schedule 1 shines a light on a dark reality in the gaming industry. It proves that today's players are tired of the soulless $70 products created in corporate boardrooms. They want a game made with passion, one that gives them a complete experience for a single price, and one that respects their time. Schedule 1 has proven that the formula for success isn't about massive budgets or fancy graphics. It's about creating fun for the player. The only question is, are the AAA studios listening? Or will they just keep ignoring the signs and risk losing the market to indie developers for good? That's it for this video. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.